Hello from England to Enrique Galindo, Mayor of San Luis Potosi and President of the Mexican Association, and to all of the representatives of the Mexican World Heritage Cities. I'd also like to thank Jorge Ortega Gonzalez, General Director of the Association, for allowing me to present our work in London to you. My name is Adrian Atwood. I'm the Executive Director of DBR London Limited. We are a conservation company based in London and the southeast of England, and we have been carrying out work on historic buildings for the past 34 years. I'm also an accredited conservator as well. So in the UK, we have 32 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and 4 of those are in London. This image shows the Maritime Greenwich World Heritage Site, where we have worked for the past 12 years, carrying out stonework repair and roofing repair to the scheduled monuments. There is also the Tower of London, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, where we have worked in many years ago. The Royal Botanic Gardens at Kew, we are currently working on that estate, and also carrying out a large conservation project at Wakehurst Place, which is just outside of London, but part of the Kew estate. And we're also working at the Palace of Westminster, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, along with Westminster Abbey and St Margaret's Church. So at DBR, we employ over 100 craftspeople. That includes joinery conservators, stone cleaners, stone masons and carvers, polychrome specialists and lead workers, joiners, wood carvers, brick specialists, roofers, plasterers and stucco specialists, cleaning conservators, historic floor specialists, stone conservators, and gilders. And all of these people are highly skilled in their trade, and many of them stay with us for many decades, actually. In fact, a lot of people have been with us for the past 20 to 30 years. So at the Palace of Westminster, which is a focus of my presentation today, we've been carrying out work for the past 34 years. Including the buildings such as the Elizabeth Tower on the left-hand side, which we recently completed. The project value was circa £80 million. And we're currently tendering for the Victoria Tower, which is at the other end of the Palace of Westminster estate. Again, a vast quantity of stonework repair, and that project is currently pitched at around £100 million. This is an image of the 2 clock faces on the Elizabeth Tower, often known by people as Big Ben, a very large tourist attraction for London. And during the work, the paint was removed to the clock face and revealed the original Prussian blue colour, which Sir Charles Barry had designed the clock face. The Prussian blue had been overpainted due to heavy pollution in London in the sort of late Victorian, early Edwardian eras. And it was seemed easier for the clock face to be painted black because of the heavy pollution deposits. But now we've returned the clock faces to the original Prussian blue colour. This is an image of the stonework repair that we've carried out on Elizabeth Tower. Lots of very detailed stone replacements. You can see that the stonework does stand out a little bit, and over time, through oxidization in the air, the new stonework will blend down to the colour of the original stone. We've also carried out major projects at the Palace, including Westminster Hall. This is one of the oldest parts of the Palace of Westminster and survived the Great Fire of 1834. The remainder of the palace burnt down, apart from 2 particular areas, this being Westminster Hall and also Cloisters Court. And this was saved from the fire because it was the oldest part. It's medieval. It's the biggest, or was the biggest, hammer beam roof in the world when it was originally built, and certainly one of the biggest in Europe as well. And this is an image of Cloisters Court. This is an area which still needs a great deal of conservation work. As you can see on the image on the left, it's in quite a bad condition. The stonework is in a bad state of repair, and masonry is falling off the building into the courtyard. On the right-hand side, we have an image of a sample bay of cloisters where we've carried out cleaning, stonework conservation, and lime washing as well to try and maintain the fabric in a better condition. And this really now is another project which is due to happen at the palace in the next 2 or 3 years. This is an image of some of the operations that we carry out when we're doing stonework. We produce specialized workshops with dust extraction so that we can hand cut the stonework. We mark out the profiles, we carve it on site, and you can see some of the very complex geometrical shapes that we have to produce for this Gothic revival architecture. One of the other projects at the Palace of Westminster that we have been carrying out is a 9-year project to conserve and replace all of the encaustic floor tiles. These were designed by Pugin, who was a collaborator with Sir Charles Barry in the Victorian construction after the Great Fire of the new Palace of Westminster. But the tiles were wearing down quite heavily due to the amount of traffic, foot traffic through the palace. And also the palace is a big tourist attraction as well, attracting hundreds and, well, actually millions of visitors a year. And all of that foot traffic is wearing these tiles down to their core biscuit body. So we've carried out a 9-year phase of replacement of encaustic tiles and conserving the ones that we could save. This is another image of the encaustic tiles, and in the centerpiece is what is called pietra dura, which is a marble, very thinly sliced marble sections installed on top of a stone base, and it's cut by hand with no joints, and different types of marble have been inlaid. We had to find the only pietra dura specialist in the UK, Sir Thomas Greenaway, and he produced this pietra dura Tudor rose for us for the project. So what sort of challenges are we facing within our industry as a conservation contractor? We have a shortage of craftspeople. We have inadequate funding. We have confusion in training opportunities. We also have an aging craft, an aging craft workforce. We're not getting enough younger people into the industry, and our workforce is growing older and older. We also have a shortage of training establishments. It costs quite a lot of money to train craftspeople, and also it takes quite a lot of time to become a master craftsperson. We think anywhere between 5 and 10 years. So it's a very long vocational career to become a master of your craft. But there are opportunities, and the opportunities that do exist is upskilling. People who want to become a craftsperson, who have had a career that is quite different, maybe from technology, maybe from marketing, from graphics design, from law, who really want to actually work outdoors, work with their hands, and actually put something back to the nation in terms of a legacy. So it's a very rewarding transition. It's also a wonderful vocational career for somebody to speak to their friends and their colleagues. And also it gives a certain amount of respect, I believe, as a craftsperson for the work you're doing. The other opportunities that we do have is international cooperation for training and knowledge sharing. We're all learning a lot about how to deal with the shortage of labour, the shortage of funding, the different technologies that now come in that we can use. And sharing that knowledge between nations is a great way of maintaining our cultural heritage, and also giving the next generation opportunities to work in different countries and have different experiences, and to bring that back to work on the projects that they can within London or within Mexico City, and really to kind of bring together internationally craft skills and experience. As I say, there are alternative sources of craftspeople and apprentices from abroad as well, organising cultural exchanges of craftspeople between nations to share those experiences. Unfortunately, in England, with the Brexit, that has caused us a problem with bringing resources from Europe. It was a lot easier before. It's much harder now. So we need to be looking further afield to see how we can increase our craft resource and train craft resource as well within the UK, and again, share that experience internationally. There are opportunities to also maybe get tax breaks from government to encourage conservation and reuse of historic buildings. One of the things that we're looking at in the UK is to reduce the value added tax, the VAT tax that we have on goods and services. For new build, there is only a tax of 5%. For everything else, it's 20%. And our argument is that if we are having tax of 20% on the cost of conservation of historic buildings, it discourages work on those historic buildings, and there should be a review of that. The other opportunities that exist are technology, including AI, digital mapping, and non-invasive scanning. One of the reasons that perhaps we don't engage well enough with the next generation, the younger generation of potential craftspeople, is they don't really see it as a way of introducing technology and science. They see it perhaps as an old craft, an old skill. But actually, we are using a lot of technology now to carry out conservation work, and we need to put that together with the craft skills to encourage the next generation. There are opportunities of investment in craft skills to maintain cultural heritage through bursaries, through philanthropy, through funding from government. In the UK, we have the Heritage Lottery Fund, which does provide a great boost for the conservation of historic buildings and the conservation of our cultural heritage, and we are very thankful for that. But there are also opportunities about social value in education. In particular, it's been proven that historic buildings do add a certain sense of well-being within a built environment. People feel a sense of belonging. They can see the history, they can see the legacy, they can see where the mothers and fathers and their grandparents used to go to church, for instance, or go to museums. And so it gives them a very good connection and a legacy connection with historic buildings. So what we tend to do is we have a lot of outreach to communities within our organisation. We invite school children to our projects to show them the work that's being done and the amazing conservation work to cultural heritage. We invite the members of the public. So this is Crystal Palace, for instance. It was a subterranean entrance to Crystal Palace, which was a huge exhibition, Victorian exhibition. But what it's doing is it's basically engaging with public people locally about all the good work that's going on, and to encourage a positive voice and to encourage donations and encourage really just a sense of well-being. And we do a great deal of that throughout our projects. However, we all work very hard to achieve good conservation projects and to have amazing craftspeople working on those who have trained for 5, 10 years, maybe more, to carry out that work. And what we should be doing is recognising their skills and their talent, and also those of the managers when projects are completed. So that's the end of my presentation. I would like to thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to showcase the work that we're doing in the UK, and to see perhaps in the future that we could collaborate further on sharing craft skills and conservation knowledge. Thank you very much.